like, man, whatever you do wrong must come back around in a circle. Just like, you know what I'm talking about? If you did wrong and everybody know it's blatant, the truth is out in the open. You sent that type of energy towards the Young Dolph way, and you got no Young Dolph knocked off. I talked to Govan. I did an interview with Hernandez Govan, the dude who set the whole, supposedly, you know what I'm saying, Dolph murder up.
Yeah, my life.
What's the first thing you plan to do?
Go hug my son.
Mr. Govan, you haven't smiled all this week, but obviously you have a lot to smile about. Just tell me just about what you're feeling in right now.
Like I said, it's kind of hard to explain the feeling of getting your life back.
Y'all, it really looks like CMG is crumbling in real time. For years, people whispered about cracks in Yo Gotti's empire, but now those whispers have turned into alarms. Memphis insider Stan G just went on No Jumper and said the quiet part. Out loud, Yo Gotti might actually take out his own artist, Black Youngsta, and this isn't coming from trolls online. It's coming from somebody who's face-to-face with the streets. Somebody who's interviewed the same names tied to Young Dolph's case. Stan G laid it out raw. The same energy Gotti put on Dolph is what got him killed. So why wouldn't he do the same to someone in his own camp if things got messy? In his eyes, Black Youngsta isn't even an equal. He's a send-out, the one Gotti uses to stir the beefs and do the reckless stuff other rappers wouldn't touch. At first, that made CMG look untouchable. But with the Dolph case still haunting the city, that same role is turning Youngsta from an asset into a liability. And in Gotti's world, liabilities don't last long.
Put out a story, the other day I put out a story, Young Mob had ended up catching a Rico, you know what I'm talking about, and I put out a story, an hour later the news ran the same story.
Two fans, this wasn't just Stan G pulling up old receipts, it felt like a straight-up warning shot. His message couldn't be clearer: watch your back. He even reminded people that what you put out always circles back, and with the way Gotti moves, Youngsta's so-called loyalty might be the very thing that puts him in danger. That's what makes the whole CMG picture look so shaky right now. For years, Gotti had the dream roster Moneybagg Yo dominating charts, Black Youngsta keeping the label buzzing with wild antics, and then Glorilla exploding onto the scene almost overnight. From the outside, it looked like one big winning family, but lately, that family image is falling apart. Moneybagg's momentum slowed down, Youngsta lost a spark that kept him hot, and Gotti seems locked in only on Glorilla, and even she's carrying heavy pressure as the last one really holding the label up. Instead of moving like family goals, CMG feels more like a survival test: who's actually safe, and who's next to fall off.
You lost all the scene. His last artist is Glorilla. She doing crazy because he putting the crazy bag behind Glorilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So Glorilla, she gonna shine regardless right now. But when he go over there and dealing with them Texas boys, them folk got hit up. Them folk got hit up everywhere he go to, like the Fed watching. You know what I'm talking about? He signed that boy over here, that boy ended up going to jail. So they watching their boys.
Then Youngsta started making moves that fans couldn't ignore, taking CMG out of his bio, posting captions that felt like subliminals, and right after that, Stan G doubled down with his warning. That's when the whole situation stopped looking like trolling and started feeling real. People noticed it right away. CMG doesn't move like a family anymore. Every post feels shady, every gesture looks like a shot, and that old loyalty talk doesn't hit the same. To really get why things are so tense between Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta, you have to rewind to where it all began: Young Dolph. Back then, Gotti wanted Dolph under CMG, but Dolph turned him down. From that moment on, Gotti wasn't just disappointed, started blocking moves, trying to slow Dolph down. But instead of folding, Dolph only went harder and shined brighter. That's when the beef turned serious, with diss tracks, public shots, and real street tension behind it. And who was front and center? Black Youngsta. He wasn't just dropping music, he was pulling up in neighborhoods, waving artillery in videos, and doing the kind of things most rappers wouldn't even dare to touch.
The only reason I didn't do it, like I could have went over there and got with Gotti and got the co-signer and sped my whole process up, but at the same time, I couldn't do it because I had too much of my own money and too much of my own time invested into it. So it wouldn't have made sense for me. You see what I'm saying? And man, it's like, it's Memphis, bro. That town is too small. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, if anything, if he wanted to do something, I wanted to do something, but it's like, let's do it. That town is small. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad to hear that.
It's just Memphis one of them cities like that. You know what I mean? Like, if you pay attention, it always been an artist at the city saying, I'm the king of Memphis, the king of Memphis. That's why it's so hard for other artists to pop out and take off, because everybody will be that I. It's just me. You know what I mean?
But that same loyalty is exactly what's haunting him now. What once looked like entertainment now looks like evidence of how far he was willing to go for CMG. Back then, fans laughed at the wild antics, money showers, reckless flexing, even disrespecting Dolph in ways that kept the beef alive. But with the benefit of hindsight, it doesn't look funny anymore. It looks like he was carrying out moves that benefited Gotti while putting all the risk on himself. And that's why Stan G's words hit so hard, because if Youngsta was the send out for Dolph, then what happens when Gotti decides that role isn't useful anymore? Suddenly, loyalty doesn't look like protection. It looks like a setup for self-destruction. And right now, with CMG's image under a microscope, Youngsta isn't the label's wild card, he's the ticking time bomb everyone's waiting to see explode.
Hey man, y'all rich tell them bitch what it is, bro. Look, CMG, y'all rich niggas, every count, shit. Nah, I would never them broke ass. Like, shit. When I was broke, why would I when they broke? It ain't my fault you broke. If you were playing on me, I'm telling you. Ooh, I'm pregnant. Ooh. My shoe just fell out. Ooh, my head just fell out. Ooh.
And that's the part that stings the most. Because when you look back, it really does seem like Gotti kept his hands clean while Youngsta was out front catching all the heat. Every diss, every reckless stunt, every time the Dolph beef escalated, Youngsta was the one people saw. Meanwhile, Gotti stayed polished, playing executive, making power moves behind the scenes. To Stan G, that wasn't loyalty, it was manipulation. He painted the picture of Youngsta as the fall guy, the one carrying the weight of CMG's darkest moments, while Gotti kept his empire moving. And now that Youngsta's shine has dimmed and the heat from the past still lingers, the fear is simple. If he was useful enough to be sent out, he could just as easily be disposable when the spotlight gets too hot.
For a long time, see, it's a long story behind Black Youngsta. See, Black Youngsta was hanging with one of Gotti's enemies before he got with Gotti. So Black Youngsta is somebody who just jump around for the money. He's just a send-out. He one of the biggest send-outs from Memphis. They just keep.
And fans caught it instantly. They weren't reading those rants as random venting, they were reading them as direct smoke for Gotti. Because let's be real, when you've built your whole image on riding for CMG and suddenly you're talking about fake bosses and fake loyalty, there's only one direction that finger points, and the timing couldn't be worse for Gotti. The label's already shaky, Moneybags cooled off, ESTG has been distant, and Glorilla is basically the only one keeping CMG's name hot. So if Youngsta really cuts ties for good, it won't just be another artist leaving, it'll be the ugliest split in CMG history. Not because of the music, but because of everything attached to his name. The Dolph beef, the street rumors, and now the betrayal talk. It's the kind of break that makes people question the whole foundation of the empire.
Bro, it's like, if you so gangster, why the rap? Why you ain't out there killing? You need to go do some murders, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you're a killer, go kill some people. What are you on the stage for? You know what I'm saying? So I look at it like, so many people want to be rappers. So many people, I ain't no rap on the street. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much bullshit. So I had to wonder to myself, like, man, you know what I'm saying? All these people be lying, like, they did. What? I had to really think, like, man, I'm not a rapper. I like rapping, but I tell my side, but I really like entertaining people.
But instead of shutting things down, that move only made the streets talk louder. To fans, it looked less like Gotti brushing off rumors and more like him reminding Youngsta of his place, almost like a warning. Don't forget who built this table. And that's where it gets scary, because if you buy into Stan G's take, Gotti doesn't just check people with music, he checks them in real life. The more Gotti doubles down on this boss persona, the more people believe he's capable of cutting off anyone who doesn't fall in line even his own artist. So when you line it up, Youngsta's emotional rants, Gotti's coded bars, and Stan G's warning, it starts feeling less like rap drama and more like a chess game where somebody's about to get sacrificed.
You come well regarded. I mean, Sean Jay-Z Carter speaks very highly, right? I mean, Steve Stout speaks very highly. You know, I can't find a person that says anything bad about Lil Gotti. They always say how smart you are, how focused you are. A lot to get into about your business personality.
That acquittal shook everything up because it reminded everybody that Dolph's case is still wide open, with plenty of names floating in the background. And when you mix that with CMG's own cracks, the optics look bad. To the streets, it paints a picture. Gotti's camp can't escape Dolph's shadow, and Youngsta's the one wearing the most blame. That's why his every move taking CMG out of his bio, dropping cryptic captions, venting about fake love hits, harder now. It's not just rap politics anymore. It's tied to a murder that split Memphis in half. And when you remember Gotti's own blood family was brought in for questioning, it makes Stan G's warning feel less like speculation and more like a blueprint.
We, the jury, found the defendant, Fernandez Govan, option of being caught. It was said more than once, as the 45-year-old was acquitted on both counts. Govan was unable to contain his excitement as he embraced his pro bono defense attorneys, but out of view were the supporters of Youngsta, who were hoping Lady Justice would tip.
So the last thing Gotti needed was somebody from his own camp trolling about it. But that's exactly what Black Youngsta did. He dropped a video at a gravesite standing next to a headstone with Dolph's last name on it. Then he kept posting wild stuff online like he couldn't care less what people thought. To him, it was probably just being himself, reckless, loyal, and ready to ride for CMG no matter what. But to Gotti, it was bad for business. Fans noticed the change. What once looked like loyalty now looked like recklessness that could ruin the label. And from there, the cracks between them became impossible to hide. At the same time, CMG itself doesn't look as strong as before. Moneybag Yo's run slowed down. 42 Doug got caught up in legal trouble, and Youngsta's gone quiet. Stan G even said Gotti can't move the way he used to. Too much heat after Dolph's death. The only one really carrying momentum is Glorilla, but even she can't hold an empire alone. From the outside, it doesn't look like a family anymore. It looks like a label where both the boss and his artists are struggling to hold their ground. And now, instead of asking who's next to blow, fans are asking who's next to fall out. This is where the fear for Youngsta gets real. As y'all know, Gotti isn't just a rapper, he's connected. Stan G made it clear. Gotti has ties in high places. If he wants somebody's career over, it's over. If he wants legal problems for someone, that can happen too. So, when Youngsta shades him online, it's not just rebellion, it's risky. Because in Gotti's world, being a liability isn't just about losing your spot on the label. It could mean losing everything. But on the other side, Black Youngsta isn't someone you can just push out quietly. He's reckless, emotional, and unafraid to put everything on the line. The same energy that once made him CMG's wildcard is what makes him dangerous now. He doesn't hold back. And unpredictability like that can't be controlled with money or connections. If Gotti moves like the president of Memphis, then Youngsta moves like the soldier who refuses to play by the rules. And when power meets unpredictability, that's a recipe for disaster. Fans are already bracing themselves. Nobody wants to see another tragedy like what happened with Dolph, but with Youngsta calling out fake CEOs and Stan G literally warning that Gotti could turn on him, the writing on the wall is hard to ignore. If they don't fix this, CMG might not just lose an artist, it could lose its whole legacy. So the real question isn't if CMG is falling apart. That's clear. The question is whether this clash turns into survival of the fittest between Gotti and Youngsta, and who's still standing when the smoke clears.